All right, hey everybody, Brian Kenny here. Welcome back to MLB Now, home edition. We're joined now by a longtime show favorite and seven-time on-base champion, Joey Votto. Joey, great to have you back on the show. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back. Wait a second. Have I been on the show before?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
no,
right.
a bunch
I think
of times.
I forget because you're in your house and I'm in my house, so I think that throws me off.
You haven't been on this version of the show.
The
Last
home
time
edition.
we spoke was when you said when you retired, you said you were going to be a school bus driver. That was like that was your plan.
Yes, yeah. It looks like I'm trending towards that. It looks like I'm moving towards that bus driving.
It's an important job. You know, we'll eventually get back to that, and you can do that. That is, I mean, you tell me. That's the first question for everybody these days. Is how are you? Are you healthy? How are things in Canada? You tell us.
I'm well. You know, I'm at home, obviously, and just trying to keep it simple and trying to keep an eye out for my family and obviously my friends, but maintaining, staying at home just like everybody else. It's quiet on the streets but it's a very concerning time. So, I'm trying to do my part.
I think I can envision you like rolling out of bed like Tony Stark and having virtual reality Madison Bumgarner showing you every pitch and you taking 20 views and then 20 swings. Is that how it's working? Or are you a little more relaxed at this point in your life?
No. Yesterday I had a ice cream bar, 3 bags of gummy worms, and a bag of popcorn. So I think I think I'm going, what's the opposite of Tony Stark? I think I'm more, yeah.
I think me is what you sound like, except in pajamas, right?
Yeah.
I know we always like to talk science of hitting. We like to talk about that with you. And I remember a conversation you and I had. We saw each other at the All-Star game in Miami, 2017. And at that point, you had even coming off peak seasons, you had still decreased your strikeouts. Your chase rate was still number 1 in the game, but you were super aggressive in the strike zone. You're like among the league leaders in swinging at pitches in the zone. When you look back at that period, lasted about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. What was going so right that you were able to even find another level past where you were in terms of your process and your attack?
Well, it was something I chose to do. When I was younger, I didn't feel like I had a lot of control over strikeouts. And as I gained experience and I learned different like actual hitting skills, it was something I tried to implement, and it ended up working, which is kind of not common, where you try something and then you end up getting really high-end success with it. And it's funny. Last year is a perfect example, and I don't really like going backwards. Negative, I don't like going backwards and touching on negative things. But I tried something last year, and it went the opposite. It kind of went in the opposite direction. And but going back to that year, I prioritized putting the ball in play. I prioritized, at that time, I think it was probably the peak of the major league fastball. I think it was like the velocity was getting at or near the very best it could possibly be, and I think pitchers in general thought there was free outs, free strikeouts with their fastball, and hitters were trying to adjust to it. And so one of the things that I really prioritized was being excellent when it came to hitting fastballs and being hyper aggressive early in the count, while also being really competitive deep into the count. Now it's different. I think we've seen a pretty big uptick in breaking pitches, sliders. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just from my experience, it feels like that trend is moving upwards. And so it requires another adjustment. And, I'll be honest with you, like hitting a fastball in 17 was really, 16, 17, when fastball just kept getting harder. It was easy. It was a pretty easy adjustment. it was something that as long as I could put the ball in play deep into counts, I felt very confident early in counts that I was going to get a quality fastball to hit.
So what is your view, to go back to, unfortunately, last year then, I have to ask, what happened? It didn't look like you. What's your assessment of last year, and what happened to you?
It was truly, it was mechanical. And, you know, without getting into too many secrets, you know, ultimately it was mechanical. It wasn't decision-making at the plate. It wasn't because of a new style of pitching or I couldn't crack the code or whatever. I thought it was mechanical. And I think that, you know, in 19, I was really bent out of shape, going from hitting 36 home runs to 12 home runs. I viewed the year as a failure. You know, but looking at my StatCast data, it actually was just unlucky. It was an unlucky season. You know, I was a really productive hitter using relatively predictive data. You know, I was right in that. You know, I think my expected WOBA was 395. I think my my 17 year was like 405 or 410 or something like that. May have been a touch higher, may or may not have been. I'm not really sure, but it was always kind of in that rough range. You know, even in 15 and 16, I think they have data going back that way. My expected WOBA was somewhere around 400. So it's not like I was a different hitter. I just wasn't having the highest end of success. And so I tried to just get last year I thought almost exclusively about getting results instead of, you know, I think you dubbed me the Prince of Process. Instead of sticking to the process, I kind of just went out and chased. And anytime you work desperately, anytime you're kind of hungry and greedy, I feel like bad things for me have happened. I usually, when I stick to the process, good things happen.
Wow. Yeah. There were even pop-ups to the infield. Like, even that was like, it seemed historic. It was like, wait, you know, what is that?
You know, before we got on here, you made fun of my hair, and now you're making fun of my pop-ups. You know. No, it's funny. The right-handed relief pitcher Baez from the Dodgers, I think he threw a changeup, and I got out in front and I popped the ball up to the first baseman, and people told me afterwards, hey, that was the first time you'd popped up to the first baseman in your career. And I just, after I hit the ball in that direction, I just thought, oh, something is very, very off right now. Like there needs to be a major overhaul. And I tried it, and it just wasn't successful. But, you know, I'm motivated once we get back to work. You know, I was really, really motivated in spring training, and I was sticking to my guns, and I felt like I was heading in the right direction. And obviously we're paused right now, but at some point we'll get back to ball, and I'm really looking forward to that challenge again.
Excellent. I know, I attacked you a little bit, but I want you to know, in top 10 right now, I showed respect, and I have you in my top 10 moving forward for next year. I did.
Oh, well, thank you. While we're on, you know, I wanted to say, you know, it's yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of the Humboldt Broncos. My condolences. The team and the community have not been forgotten. So I want to say that.
That's your sweatshirt that you were in there. Tells that was a bus accident, correct?
Worse than an accident. It was a disaster in Saskatchewan, and I think it's a horrible thing. All
right, you're wearing the sweatshirt to show honor to those kids. And Joey, we hope to see you out there again soon. But in the meantime, it's good that you're well. Now I've got to clear my throat, and I hope you get your rest, and I hope we get back out there at some point. Always good talking to you, Joey. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, thanks. You too. Thanks.
Take care, Joey.
See you.